Network. I greet everybody upon this evening. You know what I'm saying? This here is another Let's Talk About It video. Questions and answers. You understand? Y'all know my disclaimer. I'm not a pastor, preacher. I don't hold any type of office in the church. So please do not lay claims of those titles on me. We're not here to violate any type of community guidelines, any type of copyright infringement, or any type of privacy guidelines at all. Shout out to everybody who's going to join us live now, in the middle, and those who are going to catch it when it uploads to YouTube. We here. We made it another day. You understand? It's a blessing to make it another day here on this earth. Another opportunity to get more right with the Lord. You understand? Shout out to everybody out there. The low riders, the haters, the screen recorders, the stalkers. You understand? Shout out to y'all. The false prophets and their members. You know what I mean? So, what y'all want to talk about? What the people want to talk about? I know I have a lot of topics I'll be coming up with and stuff like that. Now I want to hear what the people want to talk about. What y'all want to talk about? I come on here probably like once a week just to see what the people want to talk about, questions and answers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? What's up to Suzanne Miller? What's up to Shelly House? Shout out to you. What's up to Fleming? Shout out to you. All right, what's up to David B, Renee Burton, Brother Mello? What's up to Mercy Carr? Bless. What's up to Brother Jonah, the Enforcer? I've been meaning to mention that, the Enforcer. What's up to Cynthia Davenport? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Appreciate you for coming on here. And whatnot. He says, greetings, Tony and everyone. Back at you. You know what I mean? David B. Greetings. Appreciate that. You know what I mean? So I know a lot of people, when we have the certain topics that we talk about, people come on here with different questions. So I open this platform up for stuff like this. For those out there who got questions. Aaron Michaels said, let's talk about white racist Christians and racism in the church. Well, what about it? What about it? You know what I mean? I never been through it. So what about it? You understand? I wouldn't classify them as Christians. You know what I mean? They devils. You understand? Could there be racism in the churches? It's possible. It's possible. You understand? Some people got all Spanish. Some people got all whites, all Asians, whatever. They just want their people. It's possible, right? But guess what? I wouldn't classify them as Christians. So what made you brought that up at Mr. Michaels? What's up to Sister in Christ? Dawn Borland, shout out to you. What's up to Edward? Shout out to you. Appreciate the encouragement. What's up to G Money? Hope all is well. Edward says, people always seem to embrace when others make mistakes. What do you mean by that? Like, if somebody make a mistake, do you mean embracing as far as like encouragement or down talking them or downplaying it? Let me know. Mello says, what everybody likes to do in their spare time. Cook. You know what I mean? Cook. Work out. What else? I don't know. Of course, watch the broadcast, when you get the chance, the opportunity to come on here, edit videos and stuff like that. spend time with the children. I like peace also. You know, I love my peace. I stay away from those who's a disturbance to my peace. You know, right? What's up to Helena Russell? Shout out to you. Oh, Edward says laughing at them. Oh, okay, I understand. I think we kind of had that conversation the other day. I think, you know, or I've been meaning to have a more direct conversation about something like that when people make mistakes. Or I think it was like I think it was like mistakes, struggles, and lifestyles. Kind of touched on that for the most part. But yeah, people out there, you know, they see you making a mistake or you have made a mistake, and you went to church or whatever the case may be, they'll laugh at you. They won't encourage you. Listen, you gotta do better. You gotta do this. You gotta do that. You got people out there laughing. You know what I mean? Folks in the church. You know what I mean? What happens if you, oh, Tony Harvin, he's been arrested for, you know, outstanding speeding tickets. You understand? It'll be a funny thing, right? Folks laughing on social media. Look at him. Look at his mugshot. You know what I mean? He's supposed to be in holiness. Yet, look at his mugshot. He's speeding. What, he's speeding to hell? Huh? Folks will make jokes about you, laugh at you, all that. You know? So I understand. All right? What's up to Dioki? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You says, let's talk about if you had the chance to sin for 24 hours, what would you do? I don't want to touch on that. Oh, no. 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 I ain't going to touch on that one. You. No way. I thought you was going to say if I had 24 hours to live. You said if I had the chance to sin for 24 hours. Folks is going to screen record and look what he said. He'll do this, he'll do that. I'm going to keep my mouth closed on that one. That was funny right there, though. That was funny. I know folks in here right now thinking, I would do this, I would do that. Oh yeah, I would go here. I would go sleep with this woman for 24 hours. I know some people in here thinking that way. Women in here. I know some women in here thinking, I like this celebrity over here. I'm gonna go do this. That's why I said I don't want to. I don't even want to think about something like that. You know. But that's a funny question, though. That is a funny question. You know, where you get that question from? Aaron Michael says, I've dealt with racism in the church, and most black people know what I'm talking about. Oh, I mean, I don't explain. Fleming says, what's a meal you prepared that took a long time to cook? Well, I will say empanadas. You know, empanadas can take a while to cook. You understand? If you're talking about something in the oven and things like that, probably a whole chicken. Whole chickens take, you know, quite a while to really cook. I know people got the air fryer or the crack pot and stuff like that. I'm still on the oven in the top of the stove type of guy. You understand? So if I got a whole chicken, that's probably going to take about 2 or 3 hours. You know what I mean? How I used to do as a kid, when I was a kid making whole chickens, because I started cooking at the age of 9. So how I would cook my whole chicken when I was 9, I would get the oodles and noodles, the seasoning, the chicken seasoning out the oodles and noodles, right? and I would put it on the whole chicken. You understand? And I would make the stuffing too. You know what I mean? In my younger years, that's what I used to do. Man, I thought I was doing something. Came out good though. You know? So I would say a whole chicken can take 2 to 3 hours to bake. All right, what's up to Jay Williams? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. We'll do on the prayers. All right. Cynthia Davenport says, I don't even want to think about what I do. What up, the prodigal son? He said you can sin without even knowing it. That's true. That's true. You know what I mean? That's why, you know, it's very important to repent, you know, pray and repent and seek forgiveness for known and unknown sins. You know what I mean? If possible, Lord, if possible for future sins too. If possible. That's what I say, if possible. You know? I'm trying to be extra safe. All right? G Money says, what is your take on Pastor, well, I ain't going to call him a pastor, Michael Todd dressing up in a feminine attire? It was all over the tube. Is that truly a man of God? He says, talk back to me with your opinion and thoughts. Well, I've seen people put up pictures of Michael Todd dressing up in feminine attire. You understand? A grown man putting on women's clothing. Well, a so-called preacher. Let me put it like that. A so-called preacher. You know what I mean? Supposed to be a God-sent preacher, right? He's supposed to be a man of God, right? What is he doing dressing up in women's clothing? You gotta think about it like that. If he's going by the book, right? And if he's a man of God, right? Why is he dressing up in women's clothing? If he's a supposed man of God. This guy just do things, it seems like he's just doing things for attention. You understand? Whether it's putting saliva on his brother or family member, whoever that was, face. Whether it's getting a haircut in the pulpit. You understand? What's next? What's next for this fella? You know what I mean? And some silly people are anticipating his next move. What is he going to do next? So I don't classify him as a pastor at all. All right? Shelly House says, don't you think the more money people have, the more they become overzealous and evil? I would say some people. Some. You know what I mean? Some. Some people are real humble, you know, those who got, you know, a lot of money. Some people are very humble with their money. You know what I mean? They're not going out being, you know, overzealous and wicked and evil. Could it be easy to get caught up in that type of stuff? Yes. Yes. You know what I mean? I'd say some. All right. See where we at. What's up to Marcia? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Paulette? Shout out to you. What's up to V Logistics? What's up to Tanya Renee? Shout out to you. Aaron Michael says, if nobody in the chat doesn't think that racism exists in the church, put a thumb up in the chat. Well, I mean, I think it does exist. You understand? I do. But I just haven't experienced it. You know? Shirley House says, it's not hard to say, I'm sorry if you make a mistake in life, but people find that hard to do. Absolutely. Jonas says, fruity things. And that Mike Todd is. Fleming says, have you ever had to prepare for a big family gathering? No. No. Well, I wouldn't say a big family gathering. I think one time I had to, being that my empanadas are so good, you understand? I think I got the best empanadas in the world. You know what I mean? I think I had to make like probably 30 to 50 empanadas because there was a high demand for them. You know what I mean? When I was back in Maryland. You know what I mean? So that's probably it. But as far as like a family gathering and stuff like that, no. No way. What up to Crispy? How do you get over an ex? Simple. Stop thinking about her. You about to get me started. You know? Pretty sure some of them from the past, when I was young, they probably stopping on here, listening, tuning in, laughing at me. You know what I mean? But I wasn't the same fella how I am now when I was younger. I was arrogant, self-centered, you know? So they may still think about me in that way. There's some people that still think about you, right? Before you made that change. They still look at you as the same person. You know what I mean? Whether you change, you could be a changed person. They still look at you as you were before. You know? Right? Jay Williams says, Mike Todd is not a pastor. He will tell you himself that he doesn't study scripture. Wow. It's crazy. What's up, the art of war? Marcia says, a man shouldn't wear things that pertain to a woman. Sound like scripture. That's scripture, right? That sound like Deuteronomy or something like that, right? What's up, Lucian? Shout out to you. He says, pray for me. I got an exam tomorrow. For sure. What you doing on here? You should be studying. What you doing on here? You should be in them books right now, studying. You talking about you got an exam tomorrow, you on here? We can't help you. I can't help you. I can't help you. Shout out to Sion. What's up to Robertstein Jones? What is that? Shanice says, it is really wicked that all this is happening, and we all should find this the new normal. The new normal. G-Money say he's not, in reference to Mike Todd. You're right, he's doing things to get noticed. He's trying to break the net. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes on Club Shay Shay podcast. He's a disgrace to manhood and to the pulpit. Club Shay Shay. I wouldn't be surprised neither. You know what I mean? Renee says, it just came to me. He has another agenda. The Holy Ghost doesn't give you that spirit. You're right. Aaron Michael says, you're not taking your money with you when you pass away. Might as well live it up. Well, you better be careful living that money up because you might die when you're living it up. You understand? You might die. You could be in a strip club, living it up, making it rain, 20s. On the left cheek or right cheek. Yeah, you could live it up. You could be real healthy, in shape, and get stricken with a heart attack right there. You could live it up, okay? You know what I mean? Go ahead and live it up. You know? Excuse me. It says, are you Colombian? Why do you like empanadas? What? I don't get that question. Do you ask that Caucasian person over there, right? Why do you like neck bones? Are you black? Huh? You know what I mean? I like Spanish. I like Spanish rice and beans. You understand? I like it. When I had some soul food, my first time having soul food out here 3 weeks ago. So I ordered it one time. They brought it to my place. I'm thinking it's us cooking it. So I went to go pick it up one day. Spanish people making soul food. You know what I mean? There was one time I went to a Chinese spot, right? Where this was? This might have been Maryland. There was a brother in there. I said, what? A brother? Working in a Chinese food place? Wow. I was shocked. I never seen nothing like it. Wow. You know what I mean? So what do you eat? You asking us, you asking me, am I Colombian? Because I like empanadas? What do you eat, huh? What do you? Dioki says, how do you keep your energy level up? Well, work out, eat right, see the doctor. You know what I mean? But you could do all this stuff. You could do all this stuff. You could do everything right, and you know, stuff still can happen. Get your rest. Very important. You know, one thing I, was hard-headed about, I wasn't getting enough rest. You know what I mean? So I've been getting a lot more rest in these past 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So rest is definitely important. You know what I mean? Some people go to Starbucks or they drink Red Bull or whatever, coffee, caffeine. You know what I mean? Their heart is racing. They still drinking more coffee. They get the jitters. They still drinking more coffee. A mocha latte or frappuccino. You understand? They putting all that caffeine. And they wonder why they have insomnia at nighttime. They can't sleep. You know what I mean? They pulse rate is through the roof. They're still drinking more coffee. You know what I mean? All right? So, yeah, that's funny. Jonathan said, you must have gotten shadow banned. I didn't know you're alive. I'm glad you're doing well. Jonathan. Sion says, I'm sure there are sisters who can't get over. Fleming says, if you inherited good, decent money out of nowhere, would you stay where you are or move closer to TLG? Well, you mean go back to Jersey? Because I was going to the main temple when I was in Jersey. You know what I mean? It's always a thought in general to go back to Jersey. It's always a thought, or go back to PA. You know what I mean? There's some good offers out there as far as like, job wise. You know what I mean? It's offers. But, with that, it's a lot more work. That's, taking away time from my kids. So, I mean, of course, money can help out certain things, but inheriting more money, it wouldn't, give me a reason to move back unless it's like real comfortable money, whereas though I can, travel here, travel there, to see my children. You know what I mean? Because remember, it's not all about you when you have kids. You know what I mean? You got to think about yourself and those kids when they're young. You know what I mean? Even when they get older off to college and stuff like that, and I know we got to let go. It's hard. You know what I mean? We got one, got almost two about to go off to college. Time just flew, just like that. Flew. You know what I mean? He's off to college in the next month and a half. Just like that. You know what I mean? But, I mean, that's up in the air anyway, you know, to go back to Jersey or to go back to Pennsylvania. I'm thinking of more so PA. That's what I'm thinking of myself, just in general. You know what I mean? All right? So that's been on my mind, Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? Or, you know, at least close to PA. I know the Willingboro area, the Burlington area, is close to Philadelphia. It's just a bridge. It's Jersey, certain parts of Jersey, and PA. So I was about an hour and a half away from the main temple. All right. G Money says, where have you been not to experience direct or indirect racism? Working in corporate America, I guarantee you is a good chance you will come across it. It's prevalent. I'm a witness. Well, me personally, I mean, I think it was a situation with this woman. I was delivering some flooring. Flooring. You understand? And our policy is we cannot put it in the garage. We can't do it. You understand? She caught a little attitude. I gave her a little bit of the business. Simple. You make her talk to your people like that, but you can't talk to me. You understand? So she was going on and she called somebody and whatever the case may be. I guess she was explaining to somebody on the phone, oh, he's a young man, he's black. Well, thank you for the compliment. Wicked woman. I tried to record it with my other phone. I really did. So she don't know that, listen, your name, your address is on this paper. I can easily search you up to find out who you are. You know what I mean? You don't know too much where I live or nothing like that. So she's some type of real estate woman that works for this real estate company. And she owned her little business. You know, a little, you fix a little house up or whatever. Man, I could have did this woman dirty over the internet. I could have did her dirty. But the camera went off. You understand? The camera went off at one point. You know, I could have got her. Man, these people don't know how stupid they act when they come off in a manner like that. Now, she may have been racist or not. I don't know. You know what I mean? But I could have put her on Jump Street. You know what I mean? That's what I do when people start to act stupid. I get the other phone and I put it right here. Start recording. You know what I mean? But for the most part, I haven't experienced like racism. You know what I mean? She seemed like she was one of those people. She could talk to you any type of way. You could talk to your employees who's there that way. That's cool. That's fine. You understand? But as far as like these company policies, you're going to have to obey. Or we could take this stuff back and you pick it up yourself. Simple. So you got people out there like that who may think they could talk to you any type of way. And then when you give them the business, oh, they want to play the victim. You could call whoever you want. It won't mean nothing. You know what I mean? We got to follow certain policies that's in the contract. You know what I mean? So, I wouldn't be surprised, corporate America, G Money, that, people are that way. This is why I couldn't work in corporate America. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I could not do it at all. I don't know how a lot of people do it. Blessed that you got good humility for that. Because I don't have that humbleness if I was to work in corporate America. You know what I mean? To deal with something like that. That's why I'd rather just be a trucker, delivering, drop, go, sign, I'm out. I don't even like dealing with people. I be like, I hope these folks ain't home. You understand? So I could just drop, go about my business. You know what I mean? That's me. All right. What's up, Nini? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to, what is that? Shuko? Paulette says, leave my neck bone alone, I say. Christopher Henley, what up? You said, how do you make empanadas, beef or chicken? What is in it? Well, it depends. Sometimes it could be ground turkey and shrimp. Sometimes it just be ground turkey or shrimp itself. I wanted to try crab meat or snow crab meat. You know what I mean? I don't want to be extra. I know some people on the internet. I don't really like to record too much of cooking because it just takes a lot of editing. You know what I mean? There's people out there that does that. I think it's like a Chef Darren who does that on Facebook. He does that stuff. I think Jay Williams, you put videos up with cooking and stuff like that on Facebook. Who else do cooking videos? I think DJ Grant, you know, him and his family do cooking videos. I think Brother Bakari from the Virginia Temple, Tip Time family, I think he puts up cooking videos also. Who else is a chef at First Church? I forgot his name. I think his name is also Brother Darren. You know what I mean? I think he's an executive chef or something like that. Now he's official. You know what I mean? All right. Paulette says, I love empanadas or pasteless, depending which part of the Latin country you're from. Prodigal Son says, Filipinos make empanadas too. That's cool. That's cool. Bless says, if you had an identical twin and he committed a crime, hey, if he has an illness, they're gonna put him somewhere. I ain't doing no time for nobody. You understand? If you committed a crime, brother or sister, church or blood, I'm telling on you. You understand? I'm telling that you did it. You understand? I'm telling. You know what I mean? And I'm going to tell the judge, listen, lock him up, give us as much time as you can. You know, listen, you could be forgiven, but that don't mean the prosecutors and the judge have the same mentality. They have a job to do. And if you committed that crime, you understand? Listen, unless they offer you some type of deal and you take it, you know, I ain't doing no time for nobody. Shelly House says, as long as my rent and utilities and food are taken care of, I ensure that people are blessed every month. The Lord Jesus has blessed me with my health care, and I feel compelled to give back. Wonderful. At Shelly House. What's up to Roxanne? Fleming says, I had a coworker who drank a lot, decided to play hard basketball after he drank, got a headache, decided to lay down, and never woke up. He was about 33 years young, and even worse, wasn't saved. Wow. Drank a lot. A bunch of liquor and playing basketball. It's crazy. G Money says, I'm from the Motor City, and believe it or not, I have seen one brother working in a Chinese restaurant, but he was a dishwasher, and the restaurant was located in the city. Yes, it was shocking. Oh yeah, Marcia says, I love Jersey, but it's so cold. Yogi said, tell us about a gift you regret giving. A gift, uh-oh. A gift I regret giving. Oh, man. Trying to think. All I could think about is when I was young. You know, I probably was about maybe 12. You understand? I saved a lot of. I saved some money, and there was this girl around the corner. She had some beautiful eyes, And she decided to talk to me finally. And the first day I just gave her my money. I just gave it to her. I was a fool, a foolish 12-year-old. I regret that. You understand? I still think about that. You know? I still think about that. Being foolish, 12 years old. You know what I mean? But for the most part, one has to be real deserving to get a gift from me. You know, if you're talking about like my mother, my grandmother, you know, they automatically get stuff. You know, send some money to your grandmother for no reason. Your mother, out of nowhere, send money, send lunch, dinner. You know what I mean? They you know, some mothers was good mothers raising you. Grandmothers was there. You know what I mean? So, you know, from time to time, you know, you send them things. I don't send family members, other family members, nothing. Excluding kids, excluding my mother, grandmother. I don't send family members no gifts. I don't send them no gifts or nothing at all. You know what I mean? All right? Paulette says, that happened to me yesterday. I took her stuff back to the store and reported it and got full pay and a half. For sure. Fleming says, have you ever had to deliver something, but when you got there, they were closed? If so, what did you end up doing? Well, it depends what it is. You got to understand, when you're working for Home Depot, Lowe's, you're a contractor delivering, it depends what it is. It depends if you can leave it on the outside or not. You know what I mean? So if you got a bunch of drywall and you're delivering to a company, and we give them 15 minutes to either answer, respond, or to come to the spot to leave it open or unlock it. You know what I mean? But after 15 minutes, hey, we can't do it. Listen, they'll be charged a delivery fee. Simple. Either way, we get paid. You know, because you got it when they buy the stuff and they want it delivered, you have to be there, or you have to keep the gate open. If it's a house, it's mostly going on the driveway. Houses mostly get their stuff delivered on the driveway or on the grass. They don't have to be home. You understand? If it's a construction area, but if it's like a lock or somewhere, they have to keep it open. If it's a company and it's closed, whatever the case may be, you got 15 minutes. You got 15 minutes. When I hit arrived, right? And I called you 2 or 3 times, you didn't pick up, you got 15 minutes. Otherwise, you will be charged, and I'm leaving. And you'll be charged again to get it brought back out. You know what I mean? So that's it right there. It's in the contract. You know what I mean? You ain't there. 15 minutes. I'm out. Some drivers stay 5 minutes and say they was there 15 minutes. You know? So that's how that worked. You know what I mean? Home Depot, Lowe's, very strict when it comes to that. Very, very strict. You know? You don't play. When it comes to, you know, if you want something delivered and you have a company or it's a construction site, it has to be open. Or if it's an open, there was this company, you know, sometimes it may be like you know, a door there and nobody's there. If it's by the loading dock, I can leave it. You know what I mean? If the loading dock is like, you know, not high up, you know what I'm saying? But if it's like a loading dock where it's low, I can just drop the material, whether it's concrete, whether it's flooring or whatever the case may be, then hey, we could drop, leave, take pictures, good. You know? Renee says, I'm following the story from Ohio. The father ran over the officer who unalived his son. Oh, okay, I heard about that. Wow. That's something right there. You know what I mean? If somebody unalive your child, you don't know how you're going to feel. You don't know how you're going to feel. I don't care if you're in the church or not. I can't sit here and say that I wouldn't retaliate if an officer unalived my child. I can't say that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how I would feel. Your mindset would just snap. You know what I mean? It would snap. You know? What's up to Ernest Beard? Shout out to you. What's up to Child of God? Sion said, these days I might be different because people are moving from everywhere to the South. For sure. Mercy Call said, that's right. I can't deal with that at around a lot of places. I can start out humble, respectful, but I will let it be known if it gets out of hand. For sure. Shirley House says, when I was working, I didn't let my coworkers disrespect me no matter what, because if you can dish it out, you better be able to take it. Absolutely. That's the beauty about, you know, being a truck driver. At the end of the day, we still have our CDL. You understand? Company could fire you, right? Well, companies need drivers. Drivers bring the money. You understand? Drivers bring the money. The companies out want to recruit drivers. They need drivers. You know what I mean? So we ain't gonna let customers talk to us any type of way. That's not gonna happen. No way. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty about truck driving at the end of the day. Because the companies have high demand of needing drivers. You know what I mean? All right. David B says he's going to jail with his illness. What's up to biblical instruction before leaving Earth? 600 Plant Life says, what happened to freedom of religion? What you mean by that? I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you're talking about. RC says, I'll go to jail for someone if they paid me $150K. Really? You's a fool. You might as well go on the show 60 days in. You might as well go on the show 60 days in. You might as well. They're getting paid to go and sit in jail for 60 days. What I look like? 150K? No. No way. You know what I mean? All right. You said you're rolling through with the 18-wheeler holiness at biblical instruction before leaving Earth. Appreciate that. Mercy God says, I'm not doing no time for nobody. No throwing away my freedom. The devil is a liar. He says a liar for real. Prodigal Son says Mexicans cook everything out here in Cali. Wonderful. Jonas says, had me thinking of the bylaws. What's up to Anwar? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. G. Swole says, why do celebrities think their fame and money came from God to always thank him? Well, I'm not going to say all of them. I'm not going to say all of them because some of them don't care about money. Although, you know, some people out there, Dallas Cowboys fans, I've heard something on the radio one time with Dak Prescott. You know, he got a big contract, but he said he don't care about the money. He don't care about the money. I think Jalen Hurts said something similar to that too. So there's some celebrities that don't care about the fame. They don't care about the money. You know what I mean? But a lot of them, the others do. You know what I mean? They feel as though it came from the Lord, but some of them, they sold out. They sold out. You know what I mean? And a lot of them think they have to sell out in order to be wealthy or comfortable or whatever the case may be. you know. But if this fellow over here is a basketball player and he's good, you understand? I mean, he you know, all good gifts come from where? Some people utilize their gifts. Some people are doctors and lawyers, and you know, sometimes those professions come with, you know, nice salaries. You know? All right? But I think Gino says, you know, it's not a sin to be rich, but you can't love it. You know what I mean? You cannot love it. You know? Oh man, how do you feel when you broke up with someone? Did somebody ask that question? Listen, I can't remember too much of this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just a very firm guy. You know, like I said before in other lives, you're gonna be hurt a couple days, couple weeks, but I ain't finna be depressed over nobody, man. You understand? I ain't gonna sit here and I don't want to go to work. I don't want to eat. I'm just gonna sit here and eat ice cream all day and just think about her. You know, just sit here all day. Think about her. Nah, no way. You understand? All right. Excuse me. What's up to T Wood? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. What's up to Charlotte Ann? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Biblical instructions before leaving Earth. It says hashtag truck life. Absolutely. David B says iPhone out. The dad decided. What's up to Give Life? Shout out to you. Marcia says, did you go to the Holy Convention in Charlotte last year? I've never been around so many people, but it was nice. Yes, I was there. I was there. I sat all the way in the back. I like sitting all the way in the back. It was a lot of people there. It was so many people there. So many people there. You know? Give Life says, could use someone prayer heart is hurting again. Paulette said he a big fool, bro. G Money says that specific officer did not unalive the man's child. He unalived a call back retired officer hired to conduct traffic. I think he was mentally distressed and was not in his right mind at the time. Wow. G Swole, you says, are truck drivers so easily to get fired nowadays when companies are so in need of drivers? I wouldn't say it's easy unless you come to work drunk, unless you're breaking traffic laws and federal, laws like that and dealing with trucking. You understand? But if you are a good driver and you handle your business at work, you're making money for the company. You understand? It's a high demand for truck drivers, just like it's a high demand for nurses. You know what I mean? So if you got a good truck driver, and he bring money to the company, they ain't gonna want to let you go. They ain't gonna want to let you go. You know? All right, Miss Joy says, what's the best exercise, walking or running? Both. Both, I'd say. You know? All right. T Wood says, speaking of celebrities, there's a video of Michael B. Jordan claiming to profess he's Babalawi, which is labeled as a demonic priest, which explains his last movie, Sinners, the same thing Beyonce in. Wow, I never heard of that. I never heard of that before. That religion or priest or whatever. Babalawi. Well, if so, Michael B. Jordan is a fool. Marcia said Tyler Perry sold out dressing like a woman for fame and fortune. I used to listen to him until Pastor Jennings preached about it. G Money says God can bless whomever he wants to bless. Everybody has a right to choose their profession. Absolutely. You can't get mad at a person because they make 7 figures. I serve a God that has no respect of person. I agree with that. I agree with that. You understand? This person might be a millionaire over here. There's a lot of millionaires in holiness. They don't speak about their money. There's a lot of millionaires in holiness, in the truth of God. You understand? You'll never know unless they're, famous and stuff like that. You know what I mean? But it's almost like saying, well, if you're godly, you can't make over such and such amount of money. What? You know what I mean? But some people have the mindset like that. All right, T Wood said truck life, big ups to all the truck drivers. Appreciate that. You too. What's up to Herb Wise? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. You know what I mean? Appreciate that. Miss Joy says, have you tried celery juice? They say it's one of the healthiest drinks. It could be. It could be. But I haven't tried it. What's up to V Coleman? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Right? Sister in Christ. Shout out to you. You said it was a whole lot of people there. It was so wonderful. That was my first event with First Church. Wonderful. Wonderful. Let me see where we at. What's up to Bruce? Shout out to you. Miss George says, what's wrong with listening to Christian rap? Some have very positive messages. Christian rap. Christian rap. When you rapping, you taking the tunes, you taking the rhythm, you taking the groove from the rappers. You understand? So if they're taking the tunes from rap music, and they try to put in a positive message, why not just call it a rap song? Why you got to put Christian rap? It could be a righteous song, but guess what? When you attach Christian to it, there's nothing holy about a positive rap song. It could be a righteous song. There's a difference, like somebody said that recently. There's a difference between righteousness and holiness. You know what I mean? You can have a positive message. It could be righteous, but is it holy at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Big difference. DMX, right? He had some righteous songs, some, but was it holy? No. Back in the day, there was some hip hop artists that had some positive music, right? Public Enemy, right? Righteous songs, but it's not holy. It's not holy. You know what I mean? Just like the stuff we watch on TV. Or some of us might watch DJ Vlad interviews or academics or some other YouTubers. They may have righteous things on there, positive messages. You know what I mean? But there's a difference. So I don't know why they attach Christian to it. Why can't they just put positive rap music? or righteous, listen, righteous rap, righteous rap music, you know? But I haven't listened to Christian rap. I know they got Christian, they call it Christian drill rap or something like that. G Swole says, what if a truck driver gets into a fight with another driver due to road rage? Would he or she get fired then? It all depends. It depends. It depends. Listen, I don't care about getting fired if it comes down to protecting yourself at all times. You know what I mean? You want to make it home to your family or kids, or just in general. So if somebody hit your truck and I got to pull over and they get furious with you and they try to put their hands on you, no. Ain't gonna happen. You know what I mean? Ain't gonna happen. No way. You understand? Listen, I'll get another job. I'll be okay. At least I'll make it home, or at least try to make it home, because you don't know what these people's intentions are. You understand? If you get into some type of road rage or whatever the case may be, you got people who will cut trucks off. So it could be just 2 lanes. You could be going in this direction, cars coming in another direction. There's people who will go around the truck to risk their life just to get around the truck. There was one time this car went around me. It almost hit another car on the other side. You think I would have helped you? No. You caused that yourself. You understand that? No. If you want to take a death wish and be stupid to cut around and almost kill yourself. You know what I mean? You got drivers out there. They run stop signs, run red lights, and get into single car accidents. Listen, you did that. Your stupidity caused you to do that. You understand? Should I help you? Listen, I'll call 911 for you. You understand? Listen, you got this stupid driver that ran a stop sign and they crashed into a pole. They may need some help. You understand? They may need some help. Especially out here in North Carolina. You know what I mean? You got to fix other people's mistakes. That's number one. Right? When it comes to stuff like that. You know what I mean? To prevent an accident. I'm not going to fight with you in the car. I'm not going to fight. Okay, let me move over here, move over there. I'm not going to do that back and forth stuff. Now, if I see you from a distance that you're trying to get around, you know what I mean? I may block your view. You know what I'm saying? To prevent you from coming around, right? Because another car is coming. You understand? But if somebody just zoom past, listen, that's on you. That's on you. I got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? You made the stupid decision to do that, right? And if you get into an accident, a single car accident, or you hit somebody, right? And I'm long gone, and I see it in the rearview mirror, I'll call for help for you. I'll call, right? But you caused that. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll stop just to serve as a witness, like this person caused this. You know what I mean? But if a person is in a single car accident and they cause it themselves, and there's cameras, you know, on the highways. If y'all don't know, there's cameras on the highway. There's cameras on a lot of streets also too. You know what I mean? They see all that. You know what I mean? All right? So when it comes to road rage, G-Swole, you know what I mean? We all have decisions to make. You know, if it's not an accident, there's no reason to get out of your truck. There's no reason to. There's no reason to pull over. Y'all get out in the truck and you want to tangle with somebody. You understand? There's no reason to. You know what I mean? Just keep it moving. Now, if somebody follow you to your destination, you understand? Hey, you protect yourself at all times. You're minding your business. You're walking away, but there's no reason to pull over in the middle of nowhere to fight with somebody. You know what I mean? And you in the truck. Remember, you the professional. You understand? You the professional at the end of the day. You know what I mean? All right? Of course, the righteous way, if somebody's following you and stuff like that, report it. Do it the right way. Record it if you can. You understand that? So you will be covered. You know what I mean? Very important. You know what I mean? So take your camera out, or if you got cameras on the truck, you got a camera stand, put it out, get the evidence, so you let the people know if law enforcement is involved, this person was the aggressor. You know what I mean? Because they can turn it around on you if you don't have the proper evidence and stuff like that. All right? Marcia said, 2 of my sons have CDL and neither of them drive trucks. Everyone wants you to have 2 years experience, so it's kind of hard to get a good paying job if you don't have 2 years experience. What location? What location is this? Because it all depends. What location is that? Because listen, Cisco would take you. Cisco would take you fresh out of driving school. Cisco, Performance, they'd take you. U.S. Foods would take you. They will take you. Listen, you done graduate, pass the test. Listen, they call you. Come in right now. After you get your new license, come in. Oh, you're gonna work hard though when you're working for Performance Foods and Cisco and them. Oh, you in North Carolina? Oh yeah, Performance. Oh, they'll take you. They'll take you for sure. You know what I mean? Tar Heel, North Carolina. Performance Food Group. You know what I mean? Apply for them. Cisco Foods. But you're going to work hard. You're going to work hard. You know what I mean? You're going to work hard working for those, frozen food places. What else is out there? Sigma. They'll take them. You said Schneider? Yep. He said Schneider will take you. Also, Roman boy. Yep, Schneider will take you. Definitely take you. Western Express. I wouldn't recommend Western Express though. But Schneider, yes. You know? But if they're looking at companies like Walmart, you need 30 months experience because Walmart is a good company. Walmart, we're talking about direct Walmart, not, contracted. I know Schneider does Target. They contracted with Target. And I think they contracted with Dollar General too. You know what I mean? To do the deliveries for the most part. I think Walmart is direct, but they also have a contractor too. I forgot which one. Let me see where we at. Amazon. I worked contracted for Amazon before. So I forgot the name. I think it was like Qualitative Strategies. Amazon are contractors. They have contractors. To my knowledge, they don't have a direct, one-on-one as far as like the CDL job. They may have a yard jockey or something like that. Yard driver, excuse me. But when it comes to delivering, they have contractors. I did that for like maybe a month out here. I don't know if some of y'all may have remembered before I was working overnight. and I recorded it one time on the other channel. That was for Amazon. You know what I mean? So basically, you just go into different distribution centers and just, drop and hook. That's it. You know what I mean? This is why a lot of people get their stuff quick, because they always delivering. Different companies, contract with Amazon, moving. But it was all right, but it wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. You know what I mean? That overnight is just something else, man. Driving through the night, man. You understand? There was just something about it. I thought I could do it. You know what I'm saying? Dropping and hooking. It was easy, but it was rough as far as like sleep wise. Marcia said, "Do you need experience for lows?" Well, man, I would say yes, because when you on a flatbed, you understand, you got to know if you in certain areas about backing, about hills, about maneuvering the truck. You know what I mean? Because you going almost everywhere. Sometimes you go in the area, there's no turnaround, and there's no notification of there's no turnaround. You could be on a hill, no turnaround. You could be just delivering one pallet, and your truck could still be full. There's no turnaround for an 18-wheeler on a hill with curves and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there's no, when you look down, it's a long way down on either side. So how you gonna back up this truck 2 miles down the road? How you gonna back it up and cars coming? How you gonna do that? You know what I mean? So they may take them. You know what I mean? But we out here in Charlotte. You know what I'm saying? Mostly Charlotte. The Charlotte area, Huntersville, Lincolnton, Salisbury. But they may take them. They may take them. You understand? All right? We said they both work at Smithfield. Wonderful. John Doe says, I've been in the culinary field for 14 years now. Trust me, if you work for Cisco, U.S. Food, Green Tree, or any other food vendors, you are definitely going to work hard. Absolutely. And listen, dumb frozen boxes of steak, 75 pounds. You know what I mean? Putting 5 of them on a hand truck. You understand? 75 pounds each. 5, 6. If you're trying to get it done, 7 on a hand cart. Sometimes you got to go up steps or down steps. You understand? And they don't pay you by the hour. So if you starting off and you going on to performance, they're going to work you. They're going to work you. You understand? So that's why I kind of started off at performance. You know what I mean? Work-wise, driving the tractor trailers and stuff like that, work-wise. And certain deliveries and food, and you know what I mean? I wouldn't say it was rough, because I was in shape. You know what I mean? So I can imagine the people who ain't in shape. But I just went there mostly for the experience. You know what I mean? And then I was out. I was gone. I just wanted the experience, and I was out, man. You know what I mean? All right. Let me see where we at. What's up with Mr. Ham? Shout out to you. Hope all is well. Get Life says, was that third shift? Sometimes it would be like 9 p.m. to about 11 a.m. You understand? So I would have to be at the yard. It was in Charlotte by the Pineville area. I would have to be in the yard by, 9 o'clock. First load probably been at like 9:36, probably 10 minutes away. Pick up. It depends. Pick up an empty or pick up a loaded trailer. Go certain places in North Carolina or even travel to Georgia. I remember I picked up a load. Right, I pick up a load from Charlotte, took it to Georgia. Right, and when you get to the distribution center, you got to open the back, of course, and back up. I looked in it. I looked in the trailer. From Amazon. It was one little box. One little box that I got from Charlotte to take to Georgia. I said, what? This is how serious Amazon is about getting stuff fast and out there. You know what I mean? Fast and out in a tractor trailer. This is how quick they are. And serious they are about this stuff getting to people quick. You know what I mean? I say, hey, whatever, man. I still get paid. So that's what happens also. So yes, it would be like 9 p.m. to about 11 a.m. You know what I mean? All just picking up loads, picking up an empty and dropping it in different places. Bless says, I heard a man say that he'd rather drive flatbed so he can stay in shape. He said, you gain weight in the box trucks. Well, that's his theory. I do flatbed. You understand? I'd say working with the food vendors, you're going to work out because you're picking up them frozen boxes, you know what I mean? That can weigh up to sometimes 100 pounds, frozen. You're picking up those boxes with Performance and Cisco. You know what I mean? Some stops is palletized, where as though you just roll it off with the hand jack, or if you got an electric jack. Some, very few when you're dealing with Performance. Very few. A lot of it is hand truck. You know what I mean? And some of the delivery spots, like I remember one time downtown Charlotte, I hated it. Downtown Charlotte, I hated it. You know what I mean? It's a blessing to be out of that stuff. Seriously. All right. Rebel Eric says, do you have forklift license? Well, on the back of the flatbed is a Moffett, a portable, in other terms, a portable forklift. Out here, you don't have to have a forklift license. You know what I mean? But when I was back in Maryland, I did get a certificate for the regular forklift in the warehouse. You know what I mean? So, to me, it's easy. It may seem a little hard in the beginning, whatever the case may be, but it's easy. But for the Moffett portable forklift on the truck, the flatbed, you don't need a certificate or license for it out here, to my knowledge. You know what I mean? It took me, they gave me 2 days training on it, and they just threw me out there. You understand? So basically, I had to learn on my own a bit, but it's easy. It's easy. All right? Rebel Eric says, my dad used to deliver swinging meat. Yikes, you wrote. For sure. Miss George said, do you do most of your jobs alone? Yes. It's easy. It's easy. I mean, if you got a pallet of mulch, 70 bags on the average on the pallet, take about 5-10 minutes. You got the forklift on the back of the truck, unstrap it, go pick it up, I've showed it on YouTube. I'm gonna try to get a better camera for that. Drop it, take pictures, go. You understand? I don't have to pick things up. I use the forklift. Now, if it's something that if it's something I can easily pick up, you know, like it was some rebar today that me and the fella just picked up off a truck, drop it. You know what I mean? Simple. If it's something I could just pick up and leave, fine. But if it's like a pallet of mulch, concrete, stone, what else is out there that folks use? You know what I mean? Rocks. You know, it's going to take the forklift to get it done. What's up to Sandra Williams? Shout out to you. The Yoki said, jobs with no supervisor on your back all day is the best. Oh, man. All right. See where we at. Mr. Ham says, still doing my medical delivery. Good field. Good field to be in. For sure, man. You know what I mean? Doing your thing. Just Jerron says, have you ever heard of this guy named John Ramirez? If you have, what do you think about it? I've heard of John. You know, John is a Facebook friend. He's a Facebook friend. Yeah, I mean, I spoke to him a little bit years ago. You know what I mean? A former satanic priest or whatever the case may be. I tried to get him for an interview or whatever, you know, long ago. You know what I mean? But, you know, we'll see. I think he went to, you know, the church in New York. I forgot what it's called. I forgot the name of that church he attended in New York. But I've seen his testimony and whatnot, and very aware who he is. You know? Probably a little things that we may disagree on when it comes to the scriptures and whatnot. You know, but him talking about, you know, the occultic world, you know, he seems to have that down pat, being that he came from that element. Mr. Ham says, I'm delivering to New York tomorrow. New York. New York. Jesus Full says, my big brother and little cousin are truck drivers trying to get me to do it, but it seems so difficult to pass the test. I mean, what's so difficult about it? You know, what's so difficult about it? I mean, some people get intimidated by the big trucks and whatnot, but it's actually easy. To me, it's actually easy. You know, when I think about it, maybe because I got the experience or whatever the case may be, but when I think back, you know, it's actually easy for the most part at G-Swole. You know what I mean? I think you should give it a shot. Miss Joyce says, be safe, Mr. Ham. NY is not joke traffic-wise, for sure. You know what I mean? Definitely appreciate everybody for coming on here and whatnot. Let me see how much time we got left before we knock off. Before we knock, I'm just going through the comments right quick. I don't know what you're talking about at painting. All right. The Yoki says, what's your passing gas rule in relationships? Passing gas? You sure got some interesting questions. Passing gas? Passing gas? Wow. Where you getting these questions from? Passing gas rule. Wow. Dioki, you funny. Heard Watts says, if you never heard, it's called, oh, you talking about Kanye West? You're talking about Kanye West's song called Cousin. I heard the Breakfast Club talking about that. You know what I mean? That's crazy, man. Something not clicking up here with Kanye West. Something is not clicking with that fella. You know what I mean? Kanye West, I don't know about him. Seriously. You know? For him to come out with something like that. You know what I mean? It's very disturbing. Very disturbing. And you know, you got kids that's listening to that. You know? G Swole says, my homegirl told me you don't need a class A to drive the box trucks for me to want to start with that. That is true. Depends on the weight. It depends on the weight of the truck. I believe it's less than 26,001, I think, to my knowledge. You know? But if you add a company, you have to make sure that the truck that you're getting is less than that. And you don't have a CDL. Because if you get caught out there, they say, listen, you could drive this one. This one is 26,001. You can't drive that. It has to be below that. I think that's the correct number. You know what I mean? Right off the head. It's been a while since I've been to driving school. All right? But, listen, if you want to make more, get the A. Get the A. Because them people is going to be stuck driving those box trucks. You know? Whether it's the 18-foot box trucks or the 24-foot with the proper weight for people without a CDL. Sister in Christ says, yes, it is nice to be here and praying. Everyone have a blessed and safe night. Brother Harvin, and all good night. Peace be. For sure, appreciate that. Jesus Wolf said, do you get paid good money driving those box trucks? Well, I will say this. You won't make more than a Class A driver. You won't. You know what I mean? You won't. Because you're in a truck that you can only carry so much stuff. Whereas though a tractor trailer can carry more, which that driver deserves to be paid more. You understand? So, I mean, some people just drive the box trucks. Hey, they could be comfortable with it. Hey, that's fine. You know, but you want to elevate yourself. You know, not that you're greedy for money, but you want to do better. Mercy Car says, I love to drive them stick shifts, them gears in the regular cars as well. It comes in handy. Oh, stick shifts. I never drove those things as far as like cars and whatnot. What's up to Be Holy? Shout out to you. You came on almost at the end at Be Holy. Shout out to you. Hope all is well with you at Be Holy. What's up to Paulette? Once again. For sure. Let's see where we at. Not a problem at Be Holy. All right, so we're gonna knock off. You say you just got home from work. All right, cool. On that one. Mr. Ham says you only make good money in a box if that's your business. Yeah, true. That's a good one. G. Swole says, have you ran over, I guess you meant, have I ever ran over an animal while truck driving? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. ran him over. I ain't stopping. I ain't swerving or nothing. I ran over a cat, a big turtle, I think a squirrel, and almost backdoored a deer. You know, if somebody's walking a dog, and normally the dogs bark at the trucks, I don't know why. And let's just say Rover runs away from the owner, and Rover runs into the street or highway. Rover is going to the upper room. You know, you see the movie Life? The upper room? That's where Rover is going. That dog is going. I ain't stopping. You know, somebody had got out. There was this person driving a car. He got out his car to move a big turtle. Man, if you don't get out the way, man, what's wrong with you? You gonna risk your life for a dirty, stinking turtle? There's some people that's just like that. You know, but if any kind of animal is running in the street, that's it. It's a wrap. If you got dogs and I'm coming through, you better hold on tight to them. Because I ain't stopping. I ain't swerving. Nothing. You know? No way. Did I cry? What am I crying? I ain't crying over hitting no animals. You know what I mean? I say, listen, they'll be all right. I ain't one of those people. Listen, I don't like animals. I don't like animals at all. You know? He says Crawford or Canelo. Well, in September, you know, if they make the fight happen 100%, I'm going to go with Canelo. Canelo is my choice. You understand? Canelo. All right. Good night to you too at Marcia. Jonas says I got a right. Rebel Eric, you funny. Sion said you're going to hell for that. No, I ain't. You know what I mean? When it says thou shalt not kill, it ain't talk about animals in that type of manner. If I'm coming through with an 18-wheeler and I'm doing 65 on the highway and there's a dog, listen, Rover or Conan, whatever the dog name is, that's roaming around on 85. You're roaming around. You're roaming around. You want me to stop my truck while cars is behind me and we speeding? Oh, let me stop the truck. Let me try. Go ahead, Rover. Go ahead, Conan. Go ahead, Brutus or Rufus. You want me to stop a truck for a dirty dog? No. No, because if I stop that truck on the highway and somebody hit the back of the truck and they get unalived, who's going to get the blame? Me. Well, I was trying to give him 15 years in prison. Another 5 for that dumb remark. You know what I mean? You know, a cat, whoever. Jesus Horse says, are deers protected by the law? Nah. Who said that? You know? If they run it, if deers is running on the highway, man, how they protect it? You know, because you could be driving your car, right? A deer could come out of nowhere. Boom. You know what I mean? You better have insurance. You better have a certain feature on your car. You know what I mean? Protection. Listen, this deer just came out of nowhere. Here's the pictures. Here's the proof. You know what I mean? You'll be covered. payment-wise. All right? Herb Wise says, all dogs go to heaven. Yeah, okay. Smith says, near the beach, turtle is untouchable. Everywhere else is fair game. Span says, if Canelo fights at his walk-around weight, that fight ends in 8 rounds. Mr. Ham says, I was making 8 to 12 grand a month in a box truck. Wonderful. David B says, cat pancakes. Jonah says, I'm locked in. Absolutely. Robert says, Rover, get ran over. Jesus Ford said, I heard you can go to jail for running over a deer. I don't know who told you that. Who told you that? I don't know who said that, man. You know? I don't know who said that. You know what I mean? If it's an unavoidable accident, you know? Now, if you see a deer, if you're going like 5 miles an hour and the deer is walking slow in the street and you decide to floor it, that's something different. If you're going like 5 miles on the street and there's a dog walking across the street and you decide to floor it, yeah, that's something different, man. That's something different, you know. But if I'm in a big rig, man, and I'm speeding, unavoidable, you know. All right. See where we at. Viola says, seen eat road kill deer. I guess you meant some eat road kill deer. Oh, it says people eat road kill deer. Oh, I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Jonas says the eagle will be definitely bald after that. Jesus says, I forgot, but they said you supposed to stop and report yourself hitting a deer. Yes. Yes. What else we got before we end off? So I hope everybody have a wonderful day, wonderful night, peaceful sleep. You understand? I thank everybody for tuning in to this video. For the most part, we had a great conversation with the questions and answers, whatever the case may be. It all depends at G Swole. What's up to SV? You know, Rebel Eric said, my dad took out a whole family of birds on the highway. You can guess way, you wrote. All right, we're about to end off. You know, it's about that time to conclude. Everybody have a wonderful and peaceful night. Dioki says, when we get to talk about anything, it's my favorite live. Oh, yeah? That's what's up, you know? I like to open the floor to people, you know, whatever's on their mind, whatever they want to talk about, whatever questions they may have, you know what I'm saying? We could talk about it maybe once, maybe twice a week. We'll see how it goes for the most part. But Lord willing, we'll be on tomorrow with some more good conversation. You know, I don't know if the other brothers got something going on tonight on their YouTube channels or whatever the case may be. For the most part, listen, you got questions. It's time to end, man. It's time to go. You understand that? You came on at the last minute. I'm tired. It's time to go to sleep. I want to relax. For the most part, you wait to the very end to say that. You probably was listening all the way through at Mr. Patrick T. You probably was. Then you decided to say that. No, it's time to go. You understand? It's time to go. It's time to go, Patty boy. You understand? All right? Lord willing, Lord willing, Tyree says, Tony, for some reason, it's not showing I'm a subscription to you. I don't know what's going on with YouTube and whatnot, man. I don't know. YouTube is just, I don't know. You know what I mean? Just like the notifications to people, you understand that? They don't send it out to all subscribers. I don't like that they only send it out to maybe a good 200. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the point of, building your YouTube channel if you're not going to send it out to all the subscribers at the end of the day? You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, if I can help just one person, I'm fine with that, as far as like encouragement and things of that nature. David B said, it could be that. It could be, just like they did on the third channel, man, and the first channel. You understand that? All right. So God bless to everybody out there. Hope everybody have a wonderful day, wonderful night. Patrick T, I'll get up with you if I can remember tomorrow, man. I meant to get at you today. You understand? But I'll get at you if I can remember tomorrow. I understand. You know what I mean? But I got you, Patrick T. All right. God bless everybody out there once again. I'm out. Peace.